create the true best being, and that's when things start to work together and unite with one another, or we could come back to Adam, the beautiful humanoids we were meant to be. What that's going to detail, I don't really know in regards to how deep the rabbit hole is going to go, and will the oxygen get better, which most likely will we become our vision will become better. That's only if we follow the code. Everything will become better. The water will taste better, the water will be better, because we're no longer polluting, we're taking care of the animals, and we're doing what we're supposed to. So now everything in the DNA you think is African. I'm sure at one point we were all one united people, one, again, Asiatic ebony man. But if you go far back enough, we were all one people, one tribe. One ebony, beautiful tribe, as we still can be, but the beauty is more in who you are and not what your outer apparel is, because we all have the spark of God within us, and all that we need to do is connect ourselves. That's it. Then we become back in line to what we're supposed to be, and you will never die. Even when you pass on, you won't die. As a matter of fact, you'll be promoted. So you can see that in children. Again, when you raise a child with love or raising a child with hate, they're two different beings. Even with an animal. And with the negative, you start teaching them negative, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of hate, pain, and destruction. But when you teach them all good, it's the opposite. Again, crime is a trap. Don't drive a car if you don't have all the paperwork. Don't run from the police. They ask you for an ID. I'm sure there's some people that, they use the straw man laws with some of these people that your mother signing the birth certificate. If you got to go to court, they'll say who you are, and you can claim not to be that because you didn't sign that birth certificate, and actually they're referring to the birth certificate and not you. So if they say, well, who's being penalized, you whip out your birth certificate, say I'm representing the birth, I'm representing that person, which technically they're saying is you, but you say no, you're actually suing my birth certificate. But this is all an illusion, because they're trying to make it legalistic, but the truth of the matter is that we are all subjugated to God's laws, and we are here to abide by them or not abide by them. And some people are using that, saying, well, this is all a racist system to get us to admit to something that we haven't done. But the truth of the matter is that forget about all that stuff. Just do what's right. If they take you into court or whatever, something erroneous, then you know that you're standing on higher ground, and that judge that's actually casting negative judgment on you doesn't have the authority to do it. But you are you handle yourself like Yeshua, and in the end, they're not getting any victory from doing anything to you other than following the law, especially if you become the law. So if a crooked judge judges against you, that's on him. The penalty is on him, because he broke the law. He has no longer does he have the right to judge you, because he's not following the law, because he's a hypocrite. And therefore, you're the law, which you abided by the law. So he's gonna punish you technically by saying you broke the law when you didn't, when you're for the law. So the thing I'm saying is, stay in the law, and if a cop asks you for whatever that breaks the law, you can do it to a point, but not to a point where if he asks you to break a law, but then again, that's the clarity that we're going to have to fix in between now and what you receive this understanding, because there is a way that we can just totally stop all this nonsense. But it's not going to happen if you continue to break the law. So you're gonna, rob from somebody. You're gonna steal a car. kill somebody because he pissed you off, or for whatever reason you're breaking the law and expect not to get the law used against you. But there are people that are really abided by the law, but when they had to go to court, the people that were breaking the law, it was the police at that time, they looked like idiots. When he was like, "Oh, could you rewind that again, please?" And you look, the cop looks such an idiot that the judge would overrule him, and then when they go to court, the cop looks even more ignorant because you could see the whole thing playing out because the Ebony brother was rather intelligent and he was cool and he couldn't even believe it. He was like, "So you're asking me for what? And I'm being held for what?" And he's playing along, he's being cool. But that helped him in his case. But if you're going to act a fool, act like you got too many rights, and then the judge is going to be like, "This guy's an idiot." So now he has the authority, even if he is a crooked judge, he has authority to put you away because he's enforcing that law because you're breaking it. So the trick is to control yourself, to know. And again, as you continue, everything was related. You can't claim mastery over everything, over the all, if you're only going to go through one section. You got to go through all 12 lessons. It's just mandatory because the hip bone is connected to whatever the thigh, and the thigh is the knee, and knee is connected to the femur or the leg bone, the leg bone, foot. Everything's connected, so you need to know the whole flow because you might be talking to somebody about chapter 5, and then they're going to switch over to chapter 6, and you're going to be screwed because you didn't learn that lesson. But once you learn that lesson, wherever they want to go, they're going to find themselves out of luck. Excuse me. So, you need to know the letter and understand the letter of the law to follow it. And it's real simple. And respect the officer, talk to him respectfully. And likewise, if the officer if a person's talking too loud, the officer should be able to put on some earplugs because there's no reason to yell at somebody if you're standing right next to him. Again, there's a way to do this, and also the police officer is trying to test you. He's trying to see your knowledge, because if he says, "Why don't you sit down and shut up?" Now he's asking you. Technically, he's asking, "Can you please sit down and be quiet?" But he's testing you. Not that's what he's supposed to do. But he's testing you by barking orders at you with a dog to see if he can get you to react to that. So then that'll give him the right to lock you up, to handcuff you. This guy's an animal. You see the way he's doing? Even though he talks to you like an animal, but they're going to say, "Well, I have the authority to tell him." All they got to do is say, "Sit down," or talk in a manner that's negative for you to react. But that's a trick. So if somebody tells you, a police officer asks you to say something real, he says something real negative, you be real cool. He asks you to sit down, even if he says, "Sit down right there and shut up." Don't react. Don't be cool, and don't fight him either. Just sit down real calmly and be patient, because this is a whole process he's taking you through. Most likely he'll take you through the whole process and say, "No, this is a smart ass nipper." This is a smart ass nipper. He ain't going nowhere. Just let him go home. Because he know the heat's coming. If you that good, something's up. And sometimes they're figuring it out. It's like, we're going to look mighty bad when somebody asks for a review on this. Because they can look a little bad or they can look really bad. But if you're over there acting a fool and you don't know the trick that, they're talking to you in a negative manner to get you to behave in a negative manner. But if he talks to you in a negative manner and you're like totally awesome and cool, and he's going to look more like an animal. And now it's his turn to look like the bad guy. And the court's going to see that. And if you go to, everyone's going to see that. He's just going to look really bad. And they will see that the officer was the one who was out of pocket. Again, they're not stupid either. Most cops, if they see your head's on right, they're going to be like, "Nah, we're just going to let this one go." But, keep an effort to not carry illegal stuff on you, and then don't get drunk in the car. Don't smoke weed in the car. You're gonna smoke weed? Watch a movie at home while you're relaxing or something, or drink some wine just before you go to bed or after supper. But don't go out there driving and drinking. Again, this is a whole system, so continue on as we go, and try to talk calmly, respectfully. Do not be disruptive. But at the same time, you can know your rights, but speak in a manner in such a way that your few words outranks his whole paragraphs of words. And we're going to come to that. So you're going to be like Bruce Lee with words. The cop's going to take a look at you and say, okay, you know what, we're just going to let you go with a warning. Sometimes even when you're in the wrong, but he see your whole style, your energy, he'll be like, nah, you know what, he ain't gonna call you a nipper anymore. Who was it that Benjamin Franklin, that he used to be prejudiced, like a lot prejudiced, but he says, according to him, he gave this beautiful oration, or this beautiful tribute to ebony people, and he was saying that he went in and he saw, basically, he was saying he saw God without saying God, because he saw all the beautiful ebony people that were students, young students that were in class learning and being kind and understanding. He just caught a good group of ebony people when they're out there. Sometimes you catch some good ebony, really nice, and he was just awed. And he wrote something beautiful. I don't know if I have it here, but if you look it up, you'll find out he was just in awe. Before right is right, and you're not looking at the flesh, but looking at the spirits and the powers. People need to know that there are principalities and powers and the rulers of these darkness that contribute to the suppression of your growth, and that many times you were never included into following a correct procedure, but a wrong one. Because there is a right way to communicate with one another, to make love with one another, to pray, to eat, and following all the right procedures and seeing clearly so you can grow. And there is a code of conduct between everyone, teachers and students, the police and civilians. And this code of conduct is there to protect all. And if it's broken by the higher or the lower, then they in turn are the direct enemy of the people. That includes carrying weapons in school. And there's a reason for that, so you won't harm one another. And knowing that there is a procedure to follow. If another student offends you, threatens you, contact your parents, and the parents contact the teacher. Now, sometimes the student will still try to come after you. But by this time, hopefully, they would have had eradicated it. And back in the day, you would have just had to been like, well, I'm going to just have to beat this guy down. Just straight up. Just beat him down. Because the teachers ain't doing nothing. Your parents ain't doing nothing. Meanwhile, this clown coming up to you trying to threaten you. And you're scared out of your mind. So he comes up to you and you was like, look, man. You try to tell him, yo, man, that's not right. Because some people will just be quiet, but some people will be like, they try to tell them, step off. If for some reason this guy, between your mouth and their brain, something ain't registering, but they catch the wrong person at the wrong time, that's a wrap for them, because you ain't thinking about a fair fight. You're thinking about, how can I take this down quickly with as little effort as possible? So he gonna think he big and bad, but he ain't gonna come up to you anymore. I tell you, he might try to fight some other people in your family or something. I've seen that happen too. But when it come to you, it'll be like, look, man, I tried to go the nice way. I told my parents, I told the teacher, I told the principal of the school. Nobody doing nothing. This clown's still coming after me, and I ain't did nothing to him. And he's still coming after me. I'm like, I mean, back in the day, I tell you, like again, you caught the wrong person with the wrong education. Because when you know the full code, it wouldn't have to go that far. But when you're young and stupid, and people trying to keep you young and stupid, all you know is that somebody's bugging the hell out of you, and you're trying to remedy this quick. Hopefully you don't kill the person because, you're going to jail for somebody for 50 years that it wasn't even worth the price of a bullet. But here you are, now you're paying the price of his life and all those years because he's just as dumb as a rock. So if you know the full instruction, you can stop that bully in his tracks. Whap! And you ain't had to take out no knife to hurt him. Just in 1 second, whap, whap, whap! And he'd be like, he'll stand there in disbelief. I see some people, they were just waiting. Go ahead, kick his ass. And he's standing there like a statue, like, what did that guy just tell me? So you standing there with a bully that kicked everybody's ass, but he's standing there because you know the code. He's standing there like a statue, literally. You just give him a couple words, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, what did he just tell me? It just ruined his whole psyche, And everybody else is like, hey, you got to take it from that guy, kick his ass. Go ahead, just kick his ass. And he's thinking, I'm going to kick his ass out here. I can't even fathom what he just told me. And that scares them because they have no idea what's coming next. But once you get the full instruction, that's just how it's going to be. So, there's one outcome with the ignorant. But once you're in the knowledge and the know, there's a totally different outcome. And very powerful. Some people will come to you sweet as pie next time. Hey, man, hey, what's up, man? Like nothing happened. Like he was your brother all your life. The next day, be like, hey, what's happening, baby? Yeah, yeah. Like, who the hell is this guy? You think in your mind, wasn't this guy threatening me a couple days ago? And there are other people that don't like that for bullies to mess around with their boys either. So he might threaten you and some other guy you don't even know. He likes you. He thinks you're cool. So when they come up to him, and he say one word, a homie might be just like, he'll pick you up and just body slam you. Just throw you. I know people that can body slam, that can pick you up literally and throw you in the air a good 12 feet. I've seen that done. So you think they might be coming up to another guy, hey, what's going on? They'll be like, hey, you know what? Pow! Body slam. He said, don't you mess with my boy anymore. Don't you mess with my boy anymore. You got that. And he's in the right because he's trying to regulate. He's trying to be like, look, man, you can't go around slapping people in the face because somebody's going to end up slapping you in the face. So you need to figure out what you're doing and what kind of law you laying down because that's the very same law that's going to come back to you. So God willing, the guy learns it. Next day, he's all smiles and skippy and happy-go-lucky. Hey, man, what's happening, baby? Yeah, we tight, we cool. We right as rain. But as long as you gain that full understanding, then you'll be able to come up with ways that'll help him. Because now the other guy becomes better. And now he's not getting body slammed and slapped around because he's not slapping and body slamming people around. So now he can leave in peace. So, basically, they're full-grown adults with childish behaviors and childish mannerisms. That's what it is. They're brats that nobody told them, nobody was able to slap their hand or slap their face and say, hey, cut it out. Don't slap me in the face unless you want to get slapped back. Don't do this unless you want to get hurt. You respect others, others will respect you. It's just that simple. But you go around thinking you just missed a badass because you can hurt somebody. Just wait till the day where the other guy comes up with the same attitude you got, and it's like, oh, I'm going to beat you down. Or you beat down a young guy, and then not knowing that little guy you just beat down is going to be like 7'8" in a couple of years. And then when he could catch you on the street, he might beat you down just for you breathing next to him. He's like, oh, I remember this guy. Let me just regulate this real quick. I mean, it happens. I remember this one kid on Scared Straight. Little kid, little beautiful child. Now, they put him through Scared Straight. Most of those kids were Scared Straight. But what they did is that they had started a killer in that boy because they were scaring him straight. And so when he got out of the Scared Straight, he said, man, if I got to deal with that guy when I get older, I'm going to start working out.